You know, we've not done any audio sync, and I've noticed that you've not had the mic on the ATEM.
Well, that's going to be fun.
Don't you just turn the mic on?
That's going to be like 7 terrible episodes just to sync up.
Why don't you turn the mic on so it's not a thing?
How do I do that?
You hit the on button for the microphone.
Here.
No, wrong one. It's in one. Oh. That works. I mean, I guess you still have camera mics, so you could use camera mics.
No, the camera mic comes in as.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
The camera mic part doesn't work. The syncing is the clapping. That's the only thing that helps. The problem with
where's the camera?
Which one?
Oh,
yours is right there. The problem is that beards tend to catch everything.
Mm-hmm.
All the environmental things floating around.
Baby birds.
Well, that's gonna be really thick for it to be a baby bird. But it catches everything, and so and your skin underneath the beard gets super dry.
That's what the beard oil's for. It's for the skin, not for the actual beard.
Oh, but it
fun
keeps your
fact.
beard shiny though.
That's right. It's a twofold, multifold.
And it lets
purpose.
you also keep it from getting scraggly if you put some oil on it.
I think they had them in our neck of the woods, and the reason it was so common is because it had like purpose. In other words, it was cold, it was windy, it was nasty.
Oh yeah, it does keep you warm.
And
That's
so, but the ones that always got me were the ones where like they're big backer spit guys, right? And so they're always chewing backer, and they would spit it, but it would like stain the beard all the way down the side. That backer spit orange.
Oh no!
And it just
that's disgusting.
I've never heard
tobacco
referred to as backer.
That's
That's some country stuff right there.
That's it. But it did tend to smell that way too. So pretty awful.
If it's minty, it's not bad.
No,
I don't necessarily.
The problem is once they spit it out, it kind of sours. It's kind of like sour milk, except it's got a slobber / backer smell.
Somebody's like spit like Mountain Dew bottle,
dude. I'll never forget. I had a client one time that had a cup, and he just put like a paper towel down in the bottom of it, and he would spit. And I was like leaning down, working on something in the truck, and then reached up to like stand up and put my hand down in the cup. Yeah. And you pull it out, and it's like goopy.
Oh, no, I can't do it. I could not work in the medical field. Like the minute somebody like drooled on me or sneezed on me or something, I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm out.
I've got a friend who is a ER nurse, and she was posting the other day on Facebook that some man had inserted a Febreze bottle into his exit. And somebody said, like, what kind of Febreze bottle? Like the metal ones? And she's like, no, I like one of the plastic ones with all the odd shapes and stuff.
Wow. So we're not talking travel size, which
no, we're talking about like, he suitcased her. And so like people were asking, they were like, well, the problem is that because it went in there and it shrunk down and then expanded when it got inside, like they have to go in and surgically remove it. Like they can't just like pull it back out because it made it too far up. And she was like explaining that once it goes so far, it starts kind of like pushing the other direction if it's not supposed to be there. It sucked. I mean,
that was an SNL skit, right? It was an Appalachia, and did I say it right?
No, it's Appalachian.
Whatever. ER. And there was one character in it that it would come in, and he'd always have some elaborate story as to how that thing got shoved up into his rectum. It turns out,
like, people were asking her questions, and she was like commenting. She's like, "This is every single day."
What part of the country are we in here?
They're in like South Georgia.
Well,
but I mean, it's like no, like you get on Reddit and search. Like that's a common thing they see in ERs.
Whew.
People jamming stuff into their rectums. That's a bored person.
You look pretty bored to me. I don't know.
Bored, curious, creative.
No.
Perspective.
Curiosity only enters the chat when you've been bored for a while and you're like,
that's fair. Yeah, that's
I wonder if. No, you don't. Not if you're busy. You got stuff to do.
You don't have time to wonder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, so you're going to be a beard oil salesman.
Beard oil, mustache wax, beard balm. So yeah, we'll see. It's all very fluid. It's a work in progress right now.
Combs, brushes.
Probably not combs and brushes. I like the concept of just a few solid products.
Yeah.
This company has probably 80 to 90 SKUs right now. I'm trying to get them down to like 40.
Okay.
Because it's this concept of like the paradox
Yeah.
of choice. There's too many. If there's too much, too many options, it's more challenging. So get it simple, minimalist, kind of the.
Let's see. The Patrick's is a brand that's a very minimalistic, but very like high end brand that does that.
That must be super bougie. I never heard of it.
There's a lot of them. It's a cool story. Like his story of how he accomplished it's a really neat story. But there's a lot of them. The one that stands out, especially when it comes to care things, was be like Duke Cannon, right?
Yeah,
because they had a really nailed down. They had a product that everybody loved, and it was very specific. And then they started trying to grow it to be able to offer more to more people. And I think that it became too commercialized. Like people recognized it being too commercialized. Then they went into TJ Maxx, and they went into Walmart, and they went into Lowe's, they went into all these other places.
Barrel.
Yeah.
And Cracker Barrel, you can get it?
You can get a Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
And so they like the product quality went downhill. The packaging changed and this and that.
Yeah.
But now that being said, like I could see that if you, for instance, you build a kit, right? You've got beard oil, you've got mustache wax. Well, what if you did beard oil, mustache wax, and a brush, and you did the things right? Because like there's a difference in the brush you use, like the type of hair that's in the brush or the type of brush it is. Like if you use a plastic brush, it makes static and it goes bling.
Yep.
So I think you could angle that without having too many SKUs, but still have the ability.
Well, you could probably buy somebody else's brush and say, "Hey, we feature this type of brush in this kit."
I could see us eventually having a number of SKUs, maybe even more than 80 or 90. But early on, like let's just fine tune exactly what we have and what we don't have, and then build that clientele even more. Like when I say 10x it, like we're going to 10x it and pretty quickly be able to say, okay, let's start adding this in the mix and this in the mix, because we could be like your one-stop solution to beards, beard grooming, whatever.
It's interesting because I have got employees, and I know a lot of technicians who are very much like this, who buy things that are, in other words, like if you say this is for mechanics, right? They buy it because it says it's for mechanics, and they love that brand, and they're like all about it, right?
What is for mechanics?
I'm just saying, like, for instance, Eric has his beard oil thing that he does is Stiffies or whatever, him and Scott, and they love that thing because it identifies with who they are. They brand it around what these guys think they are. Now, neither one of them are anything near that, but anyway, they think they're tough. That's all. I don't know. Scott's pretty fucking tough, man. He is a stout dude. I'm telling you. Like about the strongest human being I've ever encountered.
I need to see this live. I wish you were here. I know you couldn't be, but
I mean, dude, like George goes hand to hand with him, and like he literally will fold George's arms behind him.
I need to know how he got that. It can't be just genetic. There's got to be like, well, I did a lot of this. I just want to ask.
He rode bulls.
That's it. You're riding a what 3,000 pound animal.
That's it.
That's
We're going to put you on the rodeo, David.
Dude, I get hurt climbing stairs. You kidding me?
You are very fragile. You're probably the most fragile person I know.
It's because, I haven't pushed the body until I got really old. So now I just want to get Scott strength. I want to be able to pick up George. That's what I want to do. I want to pick up George.
Okay, we'll do a
full-size George too, because if George gets small and then I can pick him up, I won't feel as good.
Let's do a baseline today and see how close we are. I'll get it on video.
I think I can get close.
You think so?
Yeah. Especially if it's over the back, just like flinging him over my back like Scott did in that video. I think I could get pretty close.
Okay, let's do it right out here.
400 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Know. Bet. I'm setting it up. You think I'm joking?
It'd be awkward, and like George is in there, like
could you see that?
Grabbing him.
One of my employees.
One of his employees. He's enormous.
Okay.
He's enormous. He's a big boy.
Height?
Yeah,
6'4", maybe.
Yeah, probably
400 pounds.
Oh,
yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably 2 times wider than I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his other employee is Scott. He's 5'6", maybe.
Okay.
He makes you look like a big dude.
So he's
really?
He's
Yeah.
5'6".
I've never heard anyone tell me that before. So that's
He's like maybe 5'6". He looks like he's maybe 170 pounds. He's thick though.
Okay.
Like he's a stout 5'6". And this 5'6", 170 pound man is picking up 6'4", 400 pound George and throwing him on his back.
Wow. Okay.
That's impressive, right?
Yeah.
So I want that strength.
So Scott's the bull rider, former bull rider.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I'll find it.
Now I'm connecting the dots.
There you go. Helps our listeners too. No, don't start looking for it.
Oh, we got video.
Yeah, we have video proof of this. This isn't just speculation. I wouldn't have believed it either.
Wow, okay.
That's impressive, right? That's really
But test for
impressive.
luck.
That is
I
an
like that.
incredibly strong
And he's walking
man.
with him. Jeez.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's incredibly strong. That is a feat of pure strength.
Well, you know where he gets it from.
It
Is
might
the
be.
beard.
It might be.
He gets it from the beard. It's very. I mean, to me, it's very evident. I guess the first thing you notice.
Yeah, exactly.
My beard was much longer than this, and I'm telling you, it did not make me an ounce stronger. I like how he slaps him on the butt. He's like, go.
Butt taps for luck.
That's hilarious.
You've not introduced yourself yet. Go right ahead.
I haven't. I actually didn't know we were recording until just a few minutes ago. So
we don't tell you that.
okay,
We started. We
just kind of
surprised you.
rolling with the punches here. Well, hey, thanks for having me, guys. My name is Josh Parnell. I'm a leadership coach, trainer, and speaker with Limitless Leadership. And so really what we do is we bring a multifaceted coaching approach to the industry in the veins of not just performance coaching, which a lot of us are already accustomed to, but now leadership coaching. We also have technician coaching available as well. And so, our big belief is that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And so it's very much of a people first type of mentality. That's why our slogan is people plus process equal profit. We know that process is important. We know that we need to make a profit in order to stay in business, but it begins, in our opinion, with the people. It's about the connection before the content.
Yeah.
And we can't connect if we don't exercise some authenticity, humility, and vulnerability in the process. So a lot of what we do and how we do it is just, it's working with people. People have real raw emotions.
David, do you have raw emotions?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the robots. So one day, robots will eliminate the need for technicians, and then service advisors will get replaced with kiosks. It'll be awesome. That day, I will enjoy being an automotive repair shop owner.
Well, I mean, unless you can replace your clients with robots.
What are you talking about? They're going to come in, they're going to select the kiosk stuff. It's going to prompt them with a bunch of questions. Some AI head is going to pop up there and go, "Hi, Mr. Smith. We're happy to see you here." And it's going to be the exact same thing I want them to say with the same tone, and everything's going to be super great. And they're going to interact with them, with the AI bot in front of them. And then they're going to then ship it off. And then some robot's going to come take their car, pull it in, do the whole thing to the exact specs, Keith Perkins style. Because they read all the Chat GPT read all of the fine print, and they've included that all into the repair process, and then it'll spit out a perfect repair every time. Cars will last a million years. It'll be great. I mean, he'll be out of business.
Hey, I don't know, man. I'm not ready to knock that idea. I mean, like the thing is, like, what from a customer standpoint, can I trust that? Because they're coming back to see you because they like you. They trust you.
I mean,
feel
like,
safe with you.
let's be honest here. Do they like him?
They don't see me. They don't see me.
Yeah.
And that's because they don't like him.
I don't care.
He dad voices them. And he gets really rude and snarky with his clients. And
I don't get rude and snarky.
Dave, let's hear an example. I want to. What's the dad voice?
Do you have kids?
I got 4 of them.
Okay. So how many times are you going to tell them to put their shoes on? They don't listen. And that last time where you're like,
Yep. I hear
this
you.
last time, like, I'm not playing anymore.
Yep.
You get that tone.
Okay.
And they know, they're like, oh, he means business.
Yeah.
And then they run and skirt. Okay. That voice is the dad voice.
Let's hear it.
We've all heard it.
I don't know. I got to be presented with a situation where I got to dad voice somebody.
Come on, Dave. Let's hear it. Let's keep on pestering
Yeah,
him.
I know,
He's gonna say, you know
we
what?
push hard enough.
Listen, I'm just saying. Sometimes you have to dad voice some people. Sometimes customers act a fool. That's all. And I'm saying robots will fix everything. They don't have emotions. They're not going to have a bad day. My girlfriend was fighting with me. It's like, shut up. Go get the work done. No, the robots will just get it done. And to perfection.
I mean,
they were having a bad day, and therefore, yes.
No,
look, I'm telling you, look. Like we had a situation where I have this guy working for me. He is the coolest guy you will ever meet in your time. He's so laid back, super cool, and rolls with the punches, learns from his mistakes, super mature, has a great head on his shoulders, love him to death. He gets along with everybody. He is fantastic. A model employee. Left half the car loose. Car left. For some reason, he did not go back. The car was a carryover. So he started it one day. The next day, he finished the job. He left everything loose. Well, I'm talking bolts and nuts and everything. The car left. She made it 10 miles and started to hear a noise. Now, this is a long-time customer, and she's very forgiving, so I'm glad it was her and nobody else and that nothing actually happened. The sway bar link, because it wasn't attached, came down and started knocking on the axle. And that's what she heard. And she shot a video of it and sent it to my service advisor, and they ended up towing the car back. Now, probably won't make that mistake again. He'll probably go, I'm going to double and triple check my work now, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to hit it every single time. And, I've given him tips over the last few months he's been working for me that, hey, when you're doing a complex job, dot it. What you used to do. Like,
do it.
Dot everything that once you torque it, dot it. And I got him a little paint pen, and I'm like, dot it so you know. That way you can visually, you don't have to go back and recheck all your bolts. You can just visually say, yep. Ooh, I missed one. Because there's no dot. It's just a process. It's the system. And I don't know if he had been doing it or didn't do it or whatever, but in this particular situation, he made a mistake. Now we fixed it. Everything's fine. No problems. But he's human. The robot wouldn't have made that mistake. The robot would have known to go back and double check.
But let me ask you this, because I agree with that, but do you personally trust a human over a robot or vice versa?
I would trust the robot to do the same repetitive task to exacting specifications 100% of the time with absolutely no emotion or nuance or feeling. There's nothing there. The robot's going to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again until it breaks down.
How are you getting educated as a customer who doesn't know car like your robot does? How do you get educated so that you feel like you're making an informed, positive buying decision?
Here's the thing that I've discovered is that customers don't care. They don't care. Now, you're looking at me going, of course they care. No, that's what we tell ourselves, that they care. But here's the thing. If they cared, Firestone would be out of business. Firestone's business model is evil. 1, they take advantage of customers. 2, they put out an inferior product. 3, and the Google reviews reflect that. 4, and yet, if I drive by my local Firestone, they have 10 times the car count I do. Now, why is that? Now, of course, they're open more hours and they've got more people and yada. There's factors in there. But if the customer actually cared about making an informed decision and I'm going to do what's best for my vehicle and blah, 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 Firestone wouldn't be in business. Here's the other thing, too.
Yep.
Now, I believe I put out a superior product to Firestone. I believe that to my core. I think we put out the best possible product that I can do because we have a philosophy in our shop that is unique, I think, to everybody else around me. It is unique, okay? And so that philosophy drives everything that we do, all right? The customer's never asked our philosophy. The customer doesn't give two shits about our philosophy. The customer's never asked us, do you know what you're doing? The customer doesn't ask me about what kind of training we go to. The customer doesn't ask them about my equipment, how well equipped I am, what kind of service information I have. All important factors, because if you ask those questions, no, to the consumer.
It's important to you, but they feel the result of your philosophy. They don't care about they don't even know it. But here's the thing. No. It's important for them to know that information because that's what enables them to make an informed decision on the purchase of the repair. What's your mission statement?
Oh, hold on. Let me finish this. Let me finish telling you this right here. The customer, the only thing they care about is
the car fixed?
Is the car fixed and am I comfortable with the price? That's it. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about who's touching it, why they're touching it, their motivation behind it, the philosophy behind the shop. They don't care what kind of processes I have and this, that. They don't care about any of that garbage. Is my car going to be fixed, and am I comfortable with the price? And if those two things align with what I'm able to offer, everybody's happy. We leave happy. I get 5-star reviews. Everything goes great. The minute something goes out of there, the car isn't fixed, or they're not comfortable with the price, now we have some strife.
It's truly a trust issue because those things create trust for them. Let me ask you this: how many customers has Firestone lost because of your shop?
I'm sure a few.
Okay, how many customers have you lost to Firestone?
I'm sure a few.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not open on Saturdays.
Okay.
I get told by customers all the time. They're like, hey, I really want to bring my car to you, but you're not open on Saturdays. And I go, yeah, because I'm home with my family. So is the rest of my shop.
Sure.
Aren't you home with your family? Yeah, but I got to get run my errands on Saturday because I don't have any other time. It's like, really? You really can't drop it off first thing on Monday morning and then just get an Uber to work? You can't figure out your life like that? That's why I need the goddamn mac and cheese truck, because I don't have to figure out these problems. I don't have to figure out these problems. I'm just saying, I don't have to figure out these problems for these people. Like, you really can't figure anything out. I had a lady come in the other day, and she brings me this car, and she's like, hey, I went down to Midas, and they told me it has a bad wheel bearing. I thought it was an exhaust problem. That's why I went to Midas, because she's 100, and she remembers Midas does mufflers and whatever, right? So she goes there, and they're like, it's not an exhaust issue. It's a wheel bearing. It's your bajillion dollars to fix this wheel bearing. And she's like, she starts Googling. She finds my shop. She comes in. She set the appointment. Now, this guy that I had working for him, because I wasn't able to use a robot, this guy that I had working for me did not tell her the process before she showed up. Hey, this is going to be a 2-hour inspection process. We're going to inspect your entire car for safety, reliability, and for maintenance items. We're going to present everything to you. You can see pictures and detailed notes. And then we're going to send you the estimate. No pressure. It is just like buying from Amazon. You can choose what you'd like to do and what you don't want to do. Click it, sign it, send it to us, and we will call you for a parts deposit. That's our process, okay? We didn't explain that to this customer. She shows up thinking, I'm just going to jump in the car, drive it around, and let her know if it's a wheel bearing or not. Now, I told her, I said, no, I'm sorry, we don't do that. Now, I went through the whole process, and I said, this is what we do, and this is why we're great, and she's like, well, I can't leave my car here all day. How am I supposed to get to work? I don't know. How can you get to work? Can you walk? Yeah. Is it too far? Then get an Uber. Like, how hard is this to figure out? You really don't know what to do? What am I going to do? Get a taxi. Really? Call somebody.
This dad voice is the real deal. And I'm glad. I'm here for it.
This is me yelling. I don't talk to my kids this way. I don't talk to my kids this way.
What do you mean clean your room? Go clean your room.
No, I don't yell.
Okay, Dave, let me go back and ask you this question. What's your mission statement?
My mission statement?
Yeah,
I want to keep your car. I want to keep your car on the road as long as humanly possible. Unless it rusts out.
Okay.
I'm going to keep your car on the road.
So what I'm going to share is this.
Driving a 450,000
your guests don't need to know
vehicle.
Your guests don't need to know your mission statement, but they need to feel the result of it, if that makes sense. So my opinion, my thought is, I agree that there are certain things that guests do care about and don't care about, but at the end of the day, all of your actions are going to dictate or not dictate whether they can trust you or not, and that's what it boils down to. So my question is, can you trust a robot over a human?
Can I? Yes. We do all the time. We blindly put our trust in, I don't know, airline pilots. We're going to fly out of here. They're using all sorts of automation.
I'm driving.
Would you fly? Would you fly in a plane with a robot?
Purely pilot? A robot? Ooh, no.
Why?
I need to have
you know why? You know why? And it starts with a T. You know why?
It starts with a T? I don't know what
trust. You don't trust that a robot is going to do what humans have done for centuries. Maybe not with an airplane, but you get the idea.
Here's the thing. I do trust the robot right up until there's a problem.
Okay.
Now, okay, but then I have one human in the shop, one person. Not me, but somebody. Juan. Juan will be there monitoring the robots.
Juan, I just saved your job.
Oh, I wouldn't get rid of Juan. You can be. Juan stuck with me. I love Juan. I love Juan. I do. No homo. I do love him. Little homo. It's okay.
Just a little bit. So it'll be fine. I mean, and look, you're coming into the scene with this new leadership company, and beard oil company. You've upset everybody. You've pissed everybody off. You've already got haters. I didn't even know who you were, and somebody tells me how terrible you are. So I thought you kind of fit in with us pretty well. Don't you fucking do it. Don't you do it. Oh, no. Is it empty?
I missed.
I'm so proud of you. It was empty this time.
I angled it towards you, so you would have gotten sprayed if somebody got sprayed. I'm sorry. I learned my lesson. It's not that I don't trust I do trust the robot. It's a low stake situation if there's a mistake.
Low stake situation if there's a mistake.
If they strip a bolt or something like that, or they break something, the robot in the process or whatever, like we can fix it. We can fix it.
I mean, yeah. You can, but what if it doesn't detect that it damaged it? In other words, like, how many parts do you get
maybe
in
you have
that
two people working for me, one QC guy that comes behind the robot and just double checks the work, because that's what they do at the. Listen, there are millions of people driving ship boxes off of the dealer lots right now, and that mother effer was put together by a goddamn robot. A robot put together that car for you, and you just drove it off thinking everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with this. Why? Because that robot did its job. And only one rando, some guy who's probably getting high in the parking lot. Did you see that at Stellantis?
No.
Yeah, they were like, this like undercover news team was filming these Stellantis employees getting high on their lunches. They were just completely they were hotboxing their cars and then going back in and to put together their Ram trucks. And they walked up to him and going, "Are you supposed to be doing that while you're at work?" And he's like,
I mean, like, I do just have to ask, like, did you expect anything different from Stellantis? I mean, we work on their cars.
Do you think it's only Stellantis? You ever driven a Ford? It's also Ford. Trust me, it's Ford too. I'm just saying. They're probably high. They're checking over the work of the robot. And you're driving off the lot going, "Oh, I'm glad I paid $100,000 for this Ram truck."
So here's a question for you, because I believe that leadership is a full-time job, but it's because you're leading people. If you're leading robots, is your job as an owner obsolete? Like why is your job?
So not really. I'll still own it. That's my job.
Would you operate it?
He doesn't operate it now.
I don't operate it now.
Because you have people is what I'm saying. Like,
no, he doesn't even do it. He just like derelicts his duty as the leader and like shifts it off to Luan and says, yeah. Good.
No, I did my job.
What
I
I'm
set
sharing
the
is
tone and the philosophy.
You can delegate and empower because you have people. When you have robots, what does that look like as an owner?
Well, I'll still have one. He'll monitor the robots, make sure they break down, and I'll have a QC guy, just like they do at the robot factory, at the Stellantis plant.
Are they going to be sitting outside smoking pot?
Probably.
The robots can handle the rest of the work.
The robots will do the rest.
Hey, you just do your thing. Robots
This is
got it.
Do
you think robots can teach leadership? He could just like record a track and drop it on them.
So the new phrase is robots don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
Right? Robots don't care. Is that?
Yeah.
Robots do not care. But here's the thing. I think you can, not to disparage your wonderful industry, but I think you can chat GPT 90% of leadership training. Not yours. Everything you do is fantastic. I don't know him. I'm just saying.
Dave, come on.
90% of leadership training. You have. I'm sure you've read the books. Have you read Extreme Ownership? Yes,
Jocko,
everybody. Yeah, okay. Everybody's read that one.
Yeah,
the E-Myth and it's just like the same books over and over and over and over. And if you distill the principles like down to their core, you know, what is it like Marcus Aurelius? All of it was in there too, and. What are you going to go back to? Like the philosophy of Aristotle and a philosophy of Plato, philosophy of Socrates. Like how far back are we going? The principles have been there for forever. So really, it's you're adding your personality and flair to it, and that's it. Because the information is the same. It's always been the same, and you're just putting a little spin on it. It's because there's never been a me. So when I give it out, it'll be different, and that's true. But I'm saying. The chat GPT will spit out 90% of it just fine. So the only thing that you need to create, and this is, I'm helping you out here.
Appreciate
Rather than having coaches, just have AI bots to sit there and
one of my favorite
call in.
One of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. She says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Robots are not going to make you feel a certain kind of way because there's no emotion behind that. So
people put they anthropomorphize dogs and cats. They're like,
what?
This is
hang on, say that again.
Anthropomorphize, like
anthropomorphize.
Yeah.
God bless you.
No,
man.
They
I was today years
instill
old when I heard that word.
They instill human traits onto animals.
Yeah. Okay.
So fur babies. It's the concept of fur babies. Okay. It's a fucking animal. That cat, the minute you die, is going to eat your face. Within minutes of you dying, the minute it gets hungry, it's going to eat. And I don't care that you carried it. Yes. Have you ever read how fast a cat will eat?
Minutes?
That cat, yes. That cat, the minute it gets hungry and it sees that you're dead, will eat you.
Wait, hang on. If there's cat food there, though, it's going to go for the cat food first, right?
Unless it's been eyeballing you. Some of these cats are assholes. Okay.
Well, they all are. Let's be honest. I mean, cats are not a great animal.
Well, that's what. No, they're not. I'm just saying. But people, they're like, "Oh, this is my fur baby. He's got a personality." And yeah, dogs, okay, they have a personality to a certain extent, but they're not people. They don't act like people. Yeah. You think you put emotion into it. You think that they feel a certain way, like there's emotion. It's just a dog. Like the dog is just reacting to the outside world. The dog doesn't have deep emotions. The dog isn't thinking about philosophy.
Do you have a dog?
And the beauty. Yes, I have 3.
Okay, all right. What's your favorite dog? We can talk about favorite pets, maybe not favorite kids. What's your favorite dog?
Definitely golden retriever.
I mean, like your favorite dog.
That dog
what's the
so
name
much.
of your favorite dog?
I mean, I don't. It's like, who you gonna? I have a dog I hate, and then the other 2 are cool.
How do they feel about you? Like when you go home today, or whenever, are they going to run up to you? Or are they going to be excited to see you?
Yeah, they are.
Why?
Because I feed them.
Because they have emotions.
No, because they're happy to see me because they're like, "Oh, it's the man that brings the food. Yay." That's all. They're just reacting to look, here's the thing. It's not just me. Anybody walks into my house and they react the same way.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Look, there goes one of them right now.
That's one of my boys. Anybody comes to the house, they react the same way. So it's not that they love me. They love everybody. They love the stimulus. They're like, "Oh, something different.
Yeah.
Yay." And I'm not saying that the dog will be more attached to one person. Like they all love my wife. They'll climb on top of my wife and lay on her because she lets them. That's it. They're like, "Oh, she's warm." And they lay on top of her. All 3 of them at the same time. Plot. And then they fight. Who gets to lay on top of her the more? Who's like, I get to put my butt on her. And I get to put my head on her. And they start to get all angry. But at the end of the day, they're not creating art. They're not looking at the beauty of the world and contemplating life. They're just animals. We are instilling the humanity onto the dog. Okay? And I love dogs. I'm going to get so much hate. They're like, "Oh, you're a dog hater." No, I love dogs. Dogs are the best animal.
Unless they're golden retrievers that piss on
your luggage.
Not
that one dog. That one dog I'm going to shoot and bury in my backyard.
Oh, that's not cool. Piss on your luggage?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then he re-wet the luggage. It pissed on one of the tripods. And so we're sitting in this room and he's like, "What is this sticky stuff?" And he's like,
"Yeah, why is this all sticky?" And I'm like, I smell it and I'm like, "Oh, it smells like pee." And I'm like, "Oh, that dog peed all over this tripod." And then I tried to clean it and that kicked up all the pee stank. And then there was pee stank everywhere.
It was on his clothes.
It was all over my clothes because I had thrown the tripod on top of the clothes. Oh, I hate that dog so much. Anyway.
So we recorded a whole series of podcasts smelling like dog piss.
Titled "Pee Stank Everywhere."
That's it.
Pee stank everywhere. When the robots come, they're gonna do the same thing to the robots. They're gonna do the same thing. This is my robot baby, my robo baby. It's like, no, it's a robot. It's a machine. Like it doesn't care.
Definitely took a turn that I was not expecting for this episode.
I mean, clearly you've not listened to enough episodes, and you've clearly not talked to Brandon yet, because if you had, you'd know that this is pretty much the direction all episodes go, which is no direction at all.
No, that's not what we're talking. This is important stuff. This is the future of the automotive industry.
You think so? You really think so? You really think so?
I don't like your tone, Lucas. I
didn't dad voice
tone. It was condescending, is what I'm saying.
Me? No.
I'm just saying. What is leadership training going to look like when it's all replaced by robots?
I mean, like, I think you've gotten in early enough. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
I think you'll be okay.
That's the hope.
I mean,
okay. I'm going to fall back on the fact that people respond to people, and so I'm not really concerned about robots in regards to leadership coaching or training. But hey, I've seen crazier things happen too.
How to better manage a robot by Limitless Leadership.
I mean, I guess. Wait, I don't see why I wouldn't
book
work.
idea, I guess.
Yeah. So what's the leadership strategy then?
With a robot?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. This is something I was not prepared for.
Come on now.
You're still gonna have to provide some leadership training for the person running the robot, I guess. But there'll just be fewer people involved. That's all.
Ideally, and so this does apply to both your question and also what we really do, which is we get to create two things so that we can provide two things. We create safety and trust to provide clarity and direction. If you think about any job that you've either left or lost, you likely didn't have both clarity and direction at the same time. You probably didn't have both, or you probably didn't. And you may have not had either. And that's really what we
I've
get
had
to do
clarity
as a
and
model.
Direction
At the same time.
Didn't like either one, and I left.
Okay, that's fair.
They fired me, but kind of mutual. I was kind of being a shitbag, but I didn't like their direction, and they were very clear they didn't like my direction either.
Can you imagine that happens from time to time?
Can't imagine at all.
I've been vindicated.
Clearly they were
They've
wrong.
been wrong.
Clearly they were
yes,
wrong.
Yes. I had a proven method. My method works. Thank you very much. Look what you're dealing with. Shitty stores. This is your fault.
Well, let me ask you this, though. When you got hired, were they clear and direct on the direction that they were going to send you on? Because
No,
at
they
some
were
point,
very
wires got
vague.
crossed, miscommunication occurred.
Well, what happened was I got transferred. Well, I asked for a transfer from one market into another market.
Okay.
And so the first market, there was a lot of clarity, a lot of good direction.
Yep.
We are targeting growth. We want growth. Great. You do what you got to do. Within the purviews of ethical, moral. What's the other one? Are you checked out mentally?
I've always been checked out mentally. You think that just happened? Especially when it comes to you. Like, I just don't even.
Anyway, within the purview of what's acceptable within the company and what's ethical and moral. Anyway, but you do what you got to do. This other market was a very old market, one of the very first that the company ever had. And that market was about don't rock the boat.
Yep. So how long did it take you to get disengaged?
Oh, it was pretty quick. It was probably within a year.
70% of employees, regardless of the industry, are disengaged at work, and it's because they don't feel seen, heard, valued, which you didn't feel that, because if you felt seen and heard, they would have been listening to your proven process, correct?
Yeah.
So it's very likely that there was miscommunication, but also a mix-up of clarity and direction from both sides. But pretty quickly, people get disengaged. They start looking elsewhere, thinking the grass is greener on the other side.
Sure.
But you as shop owners know that the grass is green where you water it. How are you watering grass for your people right now? Maybe with your robots one day, but how are you watering the grass for them? How are you making them feel seen, heard, valued, understood, acknowledged, all the
I just
above?
walk in and I tell them, hey, I just want you are seen, heard, and valued. And then I leave.
The level of
And that's it.
sarcasm, man.
And
Dude,
you know,
come on.
the very next thing that happens is all
I
of the
make
employees
sure-
look at each other and say, "Is he getting ready to fire? Is he going postal?
What the
Does-
hell is going on?
Does he have any
Here's
firearms in the
here's
car?"
thing. So I walk in and I say it in the most genuine way I possibly can, and I touch him on the shoulder and I say, "You're seen, heard, and valued." and I go like this, and then I walk away, and they think I'm kidding.
And then you go into your office with your live, laugh, love poster above, above your desk.
No, it says no one cares. Work harder. That's what it says. Maybe there's conflicting messaging there. I don't know. Seen, heard.
There's definitely conflicting messaging in your facility.
Why? How's that?
You,
No, I try to stay out of there. I don't want to.
I think that's why it works.
I don't know that works.
You know their motivation. You know the motivation structure is phenomenal in his facility. I mean, it is the most brilliant way to motivate your people you've ever seen. David calls Juan, and then maybe 10 minutes later, you see Juan walk back into the shop, and Juan says, "Hey guys, Dave says that we're not going to get paid if we don't get some work done." And so we're going to need to get some work done.
I don't call him. I text him and I say, "Hey, I need money or no one's getting paychecks." And he's like, and that's it. He gets that emoji. And then, things work out. He's always delivered. He likes the challenge.
We're not joking. That's how it works.
Yeah.
No, I can show you the text string, the back and forth.
I sense the level of sarcasm here, but then I'm thinking like, well, who's not motivated by money? Because if someone's not motivated by money, they'd be like, okay, I'm out.
It's not. I really do think a good chunk of my employees would show up to work without getting paid. I do. I believe that. Because it's happened in the past. Not in the last.
But what's the root of it? I mean, I have a feeling I know what it is, but like, what's the reason that they're going to go to work for, and money not being the driving factor?
I think they like being there.
Yeah.
And they're like,
culture is the word I'm thinking of.
Sure. I mean, yeah, you can say it's a culture, but I think they like each other, and they like being there, and they like working for each other, and that's a big deal at our shop. Like, hey, look out for each other.
How do you promote that? Like, how do you advocate for that type of family, almost like family?
I tell them, look out for each other. Don't be a shitbagger, or I'm going to fire you.
And by the way, you also feel seen, heard, and understood.
Yeah, you're seen
with the hand on the shoulder. Hey, look out for each other, and I see you.
But if somebody is like, I've got one employee right now that we hired in. I've known him for a long time. I've had my other employees have known him for a long time, but his actions say, I don't care. I just, as soon as it's 5:30, I'm bouncing. Regardless of what's going on, there could be fires. And nobody else will just let it go. Everybody else is like, we're here to finish this. We understand when you got to finish. You got to accomplish a mission. Let's get this done. And everybody will jump in and go, except for this one guy. It's just my newest guy. And maybe he hasn't bought into it or whatever. I'm getting him a little leash. But that's a problem for me. Not that I need him to stay late and if everybody else is putting their head down and getting the job done because they see that it needs to be done, you should know to fall in line with that. And if you're the outlier here, you can't keep working here.
So has that been communicated to him?
Not explicitly. I know that Juan has communicated that to him. I don't think he's heard it from me. I did have a very frank conversation with him about attendance and stuff like that. And I told him, I said, look, I have no ill will. If you don't like working here, you don't need to come work here. Like if I hated working somewhere, I wouldn't want to show up either.
Yeah.
And so.
What did he say?
He's like, no, I'll be there. And he hasn't missed a day since. But somebody calls off more than once. I'm not kidding. All of my employees collectively, I think maybe 5 call-offs. And, one was a situation where Juan got stung by a bunch of wasps and had an allergic reaction. He had to be hospitalized. Like, that's the only reason why they call off. Otherwise, they show up to work. They all show up to work. I think I missed more work than they have. I injure myself a lot.
It's my face.
But they don't call off. But this guy, like every sniffle, every excuse to not show up to work, he wasn't showing up to work. And I'm like, dude, it's obviously don't like being here. So
how long has he been there?
We split ways. Not very long, like maybe 90 days, maybe 3 months.
Okay.
It hasn't been
that long.
Yeah, dude. To call off that much.
Within your first 3 months.
The first 3 months, like that means you don't like working there. You just don't like the job.
It's possible he doesn't understand the expectations and the standard that's been set too. Even this morning in the session that I presented on, I talked about the importance of having foundational conversations.
Sure.
It's your opportunity and really your responsibility to lay the groundwork, create that firm foundation where he knows expectations are clear, standards have been defined, and it's a we before me mentality here. And so you're not just letting yourself down, but you're letting the entire team down. But
come
on, let's hear it.
Problem is that when you're in a a session, you're in a training class, and you're all pumped up, and you got the rah-rah, and that feels so nice and so good. It's great and well, but then you go to do it, and it's so exhausting and, and
it's the
tiring,
J-curve.
and then you got to keep doing it. And
Lucas, hey man, it's the J-curve because what you're describing, like the pump up and the rah-rah, that's motivation, but motivation's like a flame, and flames are going to come and go. So where's your flame going to be tomorrow, 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now? It's the J-curve. You're starting on the lower end of the J, trying to go from here to here, the higher end. And we expect this linear projection or trajectory, but inevitably we always, because it's something new, it's something awkward, it's something challenging, want to get comfortable being uncomfortable, inevitably we're going to go through this dip. And too many of us quit in the dip. The one-on-ones aren't working. The daily huddles aren't working. The foundational conversation, that was a joke. And it's because we quit in the dip. And we have to go through it in order to grow through it.
I could see that.
It's a concept of consistency and repetition. Like, it's something I share in the training that I do is, let me ask you this. Do you guys ever have New Year's resolutions? Do you ever start with a New Year's resolution?
I never do it.
them.
I never accomplish them.
If I want to start,
You said the key thing. I never accomplish them. A lot of us start with them. Yeah. A lot of us don't finish them. You know, there's actually a day in the year called Quitter's Day, which falls on the second Friday in January.
Bet, that's me. That's my day.
It falls on the second Friday in January because, statistically speaking, anyone who's created a New Year's resolution, over half of those resolutions have already quit by the second Friday in January.
Actually, my birthday is in January and it's on the 8th. So, I quit by my birthday, right? Because might as well just give up,
So stupid.
For this year, I'm gonna do X, Y, or Z. For my birthday, I'm gonna quit it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's kind of my mentality.
Well, the whole concept is this. It's this. This book. I love this book called The Compound Effect. Compound Effect was Atomic Habits, but before Atomic Habits was Atomic Habits, right?
Yeah.
So the Compound Effect, it talks about the daily, small, consistent efforts and habits, and over the course of time, you see significant change. But we overestimate what we can accomplish in a month, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year or 5 years or 10 years.
Right.
If you change one thing, if you substitute a Diet Mountain Dew for a water each and every day, you're not going to see a difference.
There's 0 calories.
By the way, Dave, I'm not suggesting that you should. I'm just using it as an example.
0 calories.
Hey, listen, we're in this situation now. We've drank so much Diet Mountain Dew. I don't know. There's a
There's
medical
on the table.
Listen, there's a medical case study that says that if you consume a high level of Diet Mountain Dew and you stop, you'll start getting kidney stones. So we can't stop now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
Keep going and keep going.
That up.
No, it's an NIH study. Swear to God, I'll show it to you.
You're on the other side of the J curve. You're on the other side.
Yeah,
of
I'm on the upside now. Need to just drink more. You think I'm joking?
Really?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. There was a case study where a man began to have a ton of kidney stones. And so the doctor had told him, hey, you need to stop drinking Mountain Dew. When he stopped drinking Mountain Dew, he started getting all these kidney stones. They found out that they had given him a medication that caused kidney stones. And they said, well, wait a minute. Why was he not getting kidney stones before? It's because of the acid in the Mountain Dew breaks down the kidney stones. And so they did all this research to find out that if you stop drinking Mountain Dew after you've been drinking it for a long time.
Brominated vegetable
oil.
That makes you flame proof, right? That means you can run through a burning building without burning up.
I stand corrected then, because I was going to say, hey, substitute a water for Mountain Dew, and after a couple of years, you'll see a difference, but you'll also feel that kidney stone that you're bringing on.
Right?
So.
Have you ever had a kidney stone?
I haven't.
I'm not
going to start drinking Mountain Dew, by the way.
I just want to point out that a kidney stone is a very, very uncomfortable process.
Oh, I can imagine.
They have a new procedure. I think it's called 10X. Like they blast it with sound.
Yeah, it's you can do the laparoscopic, you can do the laser, you can do the whatever, but
they have ways of breaking it up rather than passing it.
Oh, but you still pass it. Oh, it's still coming out that little winky woo. Don't you worry.
But I want it to come out in powder form.
No, it doesn't come out in powder form. It doesn't come out in powder form. It comes out in starburst form. Little star sprinkly things, and your wife has to get a pair of tweezers and pull it out from like halfway up there because it got stuck.
Because it got stuck?
Yeah. And then like all the blood pours out because it cuts on the way down. It's awesome.
If the title of this episode is not Robot Employees and Kidney Stones, we're doing something wrong.
I know.
It out there.
Just telling you.
After you told me all that nonsense, I've researched how to avoid kidney stones, like to the nth degree.
So I think of even it coming out and the worst pain that I had that very first day, like those
Can't they just numb your junk? Like numb the junk and then
hold
I'll
up,
pass
hold
it.
up. Listen. The things that I hated most, the two things I hated most, and to this day, it still happens. The kidney spasms, where the kidney goes and like you feel it, and they say that's not actually what it is, but it's the nerves around the kidney. So like the kidney spasms, and so it's like juddering all the time, and then like your bladder will do that too. And so you feel like your insides, like it's like this sensation because the stones will roll around in your bladder. And it's like you need to go to the bathroom, but it's this really weird sensation. It's like it's tickling from the inside out. It feels awful. I mean, it's like completely miserable. It's a really bad time.
Sounds miserable.
Yeah, it was awful.
Have you only had one?
Yeah, I've only had one.
Okay.
And I probably have some floating around in there that just haven't come out yet.
Hey, drink up.
Yeah,
Take
and
a
then
sip.
listen, I sat on an airplane with a urologist, and the dude was a urologist for the VA. And I learned so much because he was like a no bullshit, like just straight up kind of guy. Mm-hmm. He's like, you know what you like about the VA? And I'm like, what? He's like, what you like about the VA is the only fucking way you ever get sued is when they show up with a pink slip telling you you're fired because that meant you just got sued and they want you out of here. And he's like, that's the only. He's like, you're fired before it ever happens. He's like, so but he said, I'm talking about motivation. He said, I have men come in to my practice all the time. And he said, vets are smokers. He's like, I don't know what it is. He's like, the PTSD, the stress, all this stuff. He said, especially our combat vets. He said, they are smokers. He said, they are drug addicts. They're alcoholics. They're smokers. He said, they've seen stuff that we don't want to see. And he said, it makes them do things that are unhealthy. And he said, so I have this responsibility to tell them. They come in and said, for years we've been saying, you need to quit smoking, you're going to get lung cancer. You need to quit smoking, you're going to get heart disease. He said, buddy, I am the man to get them to quit smoking. He said, I guarantee you I can get them to quit smoking. And I said, really? How? He said, you don't know what smoking does? And I said, well, yeah, it like gives you cancer and stuff. He said, you know what the number one cause of bladder and penile cancer is? I said, what? He said, smoking. He said, you tell a grown-ass man you're going to have to cut his junk off because he smoked too many cigarettes. He said, that son of a bitch will quit smoking in a second.
It's 2024, and cutting your junk off is in right now.
Holy shit.
Super popular.
I just grabbed 5 of those and on my face in a minute. Oh, my God. Woo!
That's going to give you penile cancer, too. For those freaking strips.
Why are you crying? Hey, this dude that hates you so much, he clearly has not sat at a table and talked with you in a while. I'm just putting that out there. I mean,
Hey, man.
Everybody's got haters, dear. Everybody's got haters.
we have got a bunch. And sometimes I wonder if we have more haters than likers. I mean, I know you do. I mean, that's no doubt.
You guys know if people are hating on you, you're doing something right. I mean, they're watching, they're noticing.
Yeah, they're watching enough to know that they hate us. That's pretty cool.
I'd rather say the hate listen is the same as a regular listen. So it's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. It doesn't bother me very much.
As much as Seth Thorson hates you, he likes me. He comes in and sits so much with us.
Like people who are intimidated by you will often talk bad about you so others won't find you as appealing. And the reality is, like, if someone is talking about you from years ago still, there's some insecurities there. It's like, hey, at some point, like, let it go. Like, there's,
Yeah, I could see that.
You got to let almost things go. That's another problem, too. How do you fix letting everything go at the shop?
Oh,
Shift to paradigm. Shift to paradigm. It's thoughts. So, like, what we talk about is how. So, first, I'll say this: humans have up to 60,000 thoughts per day, and studies show that 80% of them are negative, and 90% are repetitive. And a lot of this stems from, like, this is why we experience stress and doubt and worry, concern, fear. But fear is simply false evidence appearing real, and we're always going to find evidence in the things we believe. So, if I believe that this is never going to work, I'm never going to achieve this or that, I'll find evidence that supports that.
Sure.
And so how are we shifting and changing our thoughts and challenging our thoughts? Because our thoughts dictate our feelings, and our feelings dictate our actions, and our actions dictate our results. So if you're not achieving the results you want to achieve, go back to the thoughts that you're having. One of the greatest mistakes many of us can make is assuming all of our thoughts are true. So if you're not achieving these results that you know you're destined to achieve, it begins with your thoughts. If you want to change your result, start with your thoughts.
Yeah.
So, but you need to keep somebody accountable. So that's important, right? Accountability is important because if you let everything go, then it's loosey-goosey, and then everybody ends up, you have chaos on your hands. Mm-hmm. But also, like, it'll be fine. Like, I'll let it go. So they do something they shouldn't. And then you have to go and like, okay, I got to go choke that guy out. And and you get amped up and you're like, I got to choke him out. We're going to do this. But then he maybe says something funny or looks cute that day or whatever. And you just go, you let it go. Now, that's unhealthy.
Right.
It is unhealthy. Right. Because then, again, everything turns to chaos. Mm-hmm. How do you get over that?
You communicate. You talk to him. I mean, because what you're describing, like the analogy that I'll paint is a rope with a single knot in the middle of that rope. Because you see one thing and you're like, I'll let it go. And then you go back a couple weeks later and there's like a few knots all kind of bundled up.
Oh, yeah.
And you keep on letting it go. And eventually this massive...
giant wad, sure.
Yeah. And so you communicate. One thing that we share is that we want to assume positive intent. So when I'm having a conversation with you, it doesn't necessarily have to be quote unquote difficult. So if I'm sharing something with you that is for your betterment, for your growth and development, I would begin the conversation by saying, David, I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't share this with you. And it's coming from a good place. I'm pointing at my heart for a reason because I care about you. Trust me, I'm going to say it
just like that too.
Well, look, I mean,
it's going to come off super genuine.
We don't have, like, we're not excited to have difficult conversations. So
yeah, I hold up. I for the longest time I avoided them. Right?
Why?
Because I felt like I was going to upset people. I felt like I was going to hurt feelings. Yep. I felt like people would quit if I had difficult conversations. Now I probably overindulge in the difficult conversations, and I don't want to say I enjoy the difficult conversations, but I enjoy having the difficult conversations before they get more difficult, right? Because if you let them steep, they become now it's down to a choice. Now it's not I need to have a difficult conversation. Now it's I'm going to have to terminate this person.
Well, and I'd venture to guess, Lucas, that a lot of your initial conversations are not actually difficult. Like you might be perceiving it to be a difficult conversation for this person, but they know you. Like they trust you. They feel safe with you. So it's a hard conversation to have, but you guys know it's coming from a good place. You both assume positive intent.
What do you do if they don't listen?
Accountability is going to go a long way. You just mentioned it, Dave. I mean, documentation.
Let them go.
Well, eventually that's the case. I think for a lot of people, retention is a tough thing because we expect that they can retain something from one time, but 70% of this conversation will be forgotten by tomorrow and 90% will be forgotten in a week. So repetition breeds retention. So this is why documentation goes a long way. When you have one-on-ones with your team members, and if you're not, you should be having one-on-ones.
Sure.
Document those things and bring them and by the way, they have access to this. I use a Google Doc. So we all have access to this Google Doc. Like when I say we all, like me and the one and that person. So when you go to a one-on-one, which is scheduled, we're not catching them off guard. It's not when it's convenient for you. It's scheduled. They're writing down topics they want to discuss in your next one-on-one. And if you give them calls to action, which is a must for every one-on-one, it's easy to go to a meeting and talk about something, but most meetings are a waste of time because there's no action beyond the talking. So talk about something, commit to a call to action for yourself and for that person. And if that doesn't get done time and time and time again, when they get let go, it's not going to be a surprise to them. Because anytime someone's let go and it's a surprise, you guys already know that's really a failure on you as a leader.
Yeah,
so
I
just
agree.
document,
I agree. But I mean, like, my problem is I keep just tolerating and then saying,
So, okay, but you just said it. So what's the problem then? Who's the problem?
Oh, I know it's me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if there is a problem in my repair shop, I guarantee you it's me. My team's actually pretty legit. It's definitely me that's the problem. I'm probably more of the problem with the shop than David is with his shop.
We know, too, that like when we tolerate mediocrity, we start losing respect from the team as well. Like another favorite quote from Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, "Beware the lollipop of mediocrity. Lick it once and you'll suck forever." If you allow that person to keep on being mediocre, it's contagious.
Maybe you should go tell Jeff that.
Tell him to quit being mediocre?
No, I was just going to say go tell him lick it once and he'll suck forever.
You might enjoy that one.
Okay.